Hey there, my friends. It's Andy coming to you from Yorba, California. And yes, the nonsense just does not stop, and it continues to get worse. As time goes on, Yorba High School hosted a CIF playoffs or track meet yesterday where a man came in and ruthlessly beat girls out of three different events yesterday, the same as he did last year, and he's going to continue to do it throughout the state. And doesn't beat them by inches, which, each girl that competes, usually if one wins over another, it's, fractions of an inch or an inch when it comes to, jumping, high jumping, long jump, triple jump, whatever it may be. But this dude does it by a foot or more. And it really is the craziest thing that this continues. We have such lunatics in the education system, in the California Teachers Association, of the National Educators Association, and it goes on. Just all these people are just simply crazy and will not give it up. And it's wild. But there's this one particular woman in Kraemer Middle School who a few years ago I had read a letter that she had written to a student who she was attempting to be a part of this girl's transition to a boy, telling her to wear her chest binder in this nonsense. And I exposed this letter in a speech. I'll play that speech in just a little bit. But in addition to that, into the years leading up to that particular speech, and since then, I believe, I've brought up this issue of the CTA and the NEA putting together this website to help the teachers indoctrinate kids and to get boys to believe that they could be girls and girls that they could believe to be boys, and that it was possible, even through surgery, even through castrating them and having their breasts cut off, that somehow this would do something, whether it would, I don't know, ease them of their mental health issues that they were going through, or keep them from committing suicide, when we have seen studies, and even studies back then and now, continue to say this does nothing to reduce the possibility that these children with mental health issues will have less of an ideation to commit suicide. As a matter of fact, it increases. And so this stupidity that Karla Jones over at Kraemer Middle School just will not give up on, and continues to wear this badge. Now, I alerted people to this badge several years ago. I did a video, and I've talked about it in speeches at the PYLUSD board meetings. And this badge has a QR code on it. And I told the district at that time and sent them pictures and emails and said, you need to make sure that none of your teachers are carrying this badge. This is crazy that they're trying to get children that simply may be sad because of one thing or another. Maybe they got in trouble, maybe they got their phone taken away and they're having a difficult time, that then somebody would say, well, maybe it's because you're in the wrong body. Maybe if you're a girl, you should be a boy. Maybe if you're a boy, you should be a girl. And they showed this badge, which has a QR code that leads them to a website. Now, I'm going to share all this with you again, just to make sure you know what I'm talking about, but it's still happening today. Now, Karla Jones was a part of this, I think it was, it wasn't TikTok, but maybe Instagram, I can't remember, where it was a video where the student was going around and getting signatures from teachers with their high school picture on it. I'm not quite sure what that was all about. But anyway, so I took a screenshot of that video, and let me show it to you now on my screen. And you see here on the left, this is from the video that was on Instagram, getting teachers to sign old photos of themselves. And then you see down in her waist, you see this badge. And I got a little close-up picture here that a parent provided to me. And here is that badge. Now, Karla Jones and this badge, not necessarily in the same video, but they should seem familiar to you. As I go to my, come back to my screen here. Let's see, where is it at? This always happens. I had it all set up, and now I can't find where that one is. Oh, here we go. All right, so first I'm going to show you where that website goes to, and it goes here. It goes to this website right here, which is the NEA, Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer Caucus. That's where that badge goes to. And let me scroll down and I'll show you that very same badge here. So you see that badge there? That is this badge. On the back of that badge, you can see there's a QR code right here. It has a triangle through it, so you can't scan it right now, unfortunately. But it takes you to this website that I just showed you. On this website is everything a teacher needs to have in order to begin the process of getting a student to believe in this LGBTQ plus, and I think in Canada there's like 5 more letters that are added to that, that it really begins this process of taking them down a road of being confused about their gender and their sex. And it not only does that, but for those that maybe not have that confusion, it really confuses them about sex. And I'm going to share some more of those things with you. But let me just first take you back to the speech that I gave at the school board meeting about who and what Karla Jones did. So let me go ahead and play that now for you here. Have fought up against. These include masking, vaccine mandates, CRT, and pornography in our schools. We've even presented the board with proof that teachers, librarians, and principals were actively encouraging sexualization of our children in all of the district schools. We have photographic proof that Principal Joey Davis allows boys to use girls' bathrooms, drag queen shows at homecoming, and he is currently allowing a culture of debauchery at El Dorado High School. None of these things that we bring to you did we make them up, nor were they conspiracy theories. Recently, we were told that no teacher or staff member is keeping critical information regarding a child from parents. Allow me to read a handwritten note from a letter a parent found in the child's bedroom. This letter was given to the child by a Kraemer Middle School PE teacher by the name of Karla Jones. The letter says, "Thank you for sharing your journey with me. I am a trustworthy adult. I would never share this information with anyone. It is okay to wear your chest binders as much as you feel comfortable. Who are you talking to for support? There are quite a few students at Kraemer that are on the same journey. Have you gone to Mr. Castro's Safe Space for Pride? I highly recommend it. Here's the worst part. I am terrified by your statement. It's getting harder and harder." This is in quotes from the student. "It is getting harder and harder to have motivation to keep on living," the child told her. "You are important and loved even if you don't feel it right now. Feel free to reach out to me anytime. Sincerely, Mrs. Jones." And just to make sure you all know, the parent of this child was not notified that this student had suicidal ideations. Mrs. Karla Jones kept this a secret, and presumably so did the ASB director, Ricky Castro. So I just want to make sure that this is clear. This is Karla Jones wrote this letter to a student without the parent's permission. In that letter, she quotes what the student had told her, that she does not want to live anymore and finds it difficult to live. But yet Karla Jones never told this parent that her daughter was thinking about committing suicide. This same Karla Jones that still to this day, 3 years after I said that this was on, I forgot what it said there, but I think it was 2023, that she still carries that QR code, that card that she presents to students. And she says there's several kids that she's working with in getting them to transition, according to her in this letter. Several kids. And then you have this other Castro nitwit who's a part of the team of transitioning kids, or getting them to believe that there's some way that they can, that they're possibly in the wrong body, and then they can somehow be another gender. Let me just read what it says here in Education Code 215. And it says that it mandates that all public school districts and charter schools serving grades K through 12 adopt a policy on pupil suicide prevention, intervention, and postvention. These policies must address procedures for when staff learn of suicidal ideation, threats, and attempts. Teachers' role. Teachers and other staff must promptly report any knowledge or suspicion of suicidal ideation threats to the principal, school counselor, psychologist, or designated suicide prevention coordinator. They do not typically make the parent contact themselves unless directed. Notification to parents. District policies and California Department of Education guidance consistently direct that parents and guardians should be notified as soon as possible. Now remember, this letter was received or was found by the parent. She wasn't told by the district. She wasn't told by the principal, or she wasn't told by the teacher, even though that maybe the teacher was not told to. At least somebody from Kraemer Middle School should have told the parent that their daughter was having difficulty with the idea of continuing to live. They didn't report it to the police department, which would be the other location that they would report it to. As a detective at Anaheim Police Department, I would get notification from schools that a student was considering committing suicide, and when we would take it from there. So let me just take you on a little tour here of where this particular code, when scanned, goes to. Now let me make sure. I'm not sure if I have the right one up here. Well, first of all, here's an article, because this has been going on for a while. This is from 2022. Teachers Union Resources discuss sadomasochism, bondage, and other sex acts. That's from the same website that QR code goes to. Here it says in the article, the National Education Association, the nation's largest teachers union, as well as the Hilliard, Ohio branch, are under social media fire after it was revealed that resources from the union's LGBTQ caucus include how-to guides for explicit sexual acts. I'm reminding you, this is at Kraemer Middle School. It's going on at elementary schools, and it's going on at high schools at PYLUSD. So what's the website? It's this website, the NEA Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer Caucus website, the one I showed you before. And there's all kinds of resources and links to other things outside of this particular website where kids can go. This isn't done, coming back to my camera, this isn't done with parents' permission. Again, this is given to children who already are vulnerable. They're in a vulnerable position, again, because of different reasons. Friend problems, problems at home. Maybe they're getting disciplined. Maybe their grades are bad and they're sad. And they're directed when they are in contact by a student who's merely sad. Doesn't mean that they come up to them and say, hey, I feel like I'm in the wrong body. It's just that, you know what? Your sadness might be related to you being in the wrong body. That is what they are told to do by the NEA, the CTA, and I dare say the APLE, the Association of Placentia Linda Educators. And then it goes off, and I'll give you some links. Here's a link to a number of books that we as parents have brought up in school board meetings, and these are all pornographic LGBTQ indoctrination books that they get a list of where they can go, and there's videos and there's books that go along with them. I'll go to the next part. It goes to the CTA, Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer Caucus. So that the CTA and the NEA are completely in locked arms here in what it is they're trying to teach our children. Another link goes into this website, which is the Teen Health Source. And this is where much of the nonsense in regards to the sex positions and different kind of sexual activities that they can get involved in. And in these links, you will find these. This is the Queer Sex Education. This is from the same website. It says sex acts that don't get enough play. And here's where it's talking about anal sex and tells them how to do anal sex. Again, elementary school, middle school, high school students in PYLUSD are told about anal sex, bondage, rimming, domination, sadomasochism, sexting, how to sext. How great is that? That the PYLUSD, that is what they want you to learn. They don't care about math, reading, or counting, but they care about fingering, muffing, outer course, masturbation, fisting, which is one of the most dangerous things a young child could do. Again, as a sex crimes detective, I had many people that were victims of fisting by their assailants. And then it has the language and definitions page, which talks about all the androgen, all these things. Can't pronounce them. Bi-curious, biphobia, bisexual, body parts. Make sure that they understand well. Again, these are going out to drag. Of course, all the nonsense that goes along with all this lunacy. So, back to my camera here. This is crazy that years after I bring this to the district's attention, two or three of the school board members are still on the school board where they were there when I gave that speech, and I'm telling them again through this video. I'll tell them through an email very shortly that Karla Jones, and I don't know if this other dude, I forgot what his name was already. I just said it. Castro, I think his name was. I don't know if he's still here, but she's still there for sure. Still has this card, still making it available to these vulnerable students so that she can impact them in a very negative way. Why is this still happening? After all the executive orders that have been through, that there's only two sexes, boys and girls, men and women, husband, wife, that there shall not be any surgery to disfigure a boy or a girl in the United States of America, that boys cannot compete in girls' sports. Why is this still happening? It is still happening. We just had, again, as I told you, and I'll go back to my screen here really quick as soon as I find the right link, is that we have this dude still competing against girls in girls' sports and destroying them in the sport of long jump, of high jump, triple jump, and it's still happening today. He took 3 first place, which means he took places away from girls that actually should be in those positions, and allow them to use that as a launch board into college sports and university sports. It's it's crazy that this is still going on. And Karla Jones is just one of many teachers that are still in our school district. We have many great teachers, but we have far too many horrible teachers that should not be around children. In any other time in our history, would we have allowed for teachers to sexualize our kids? They'd be arrested. I can't tell you the countless cases that I had that I arrested men and women for simply showing pornographic magazines and books to children. We would file charges. We would get indictments. We'd file charges. We'd get them arrested, and we'd put them in jail for doing the very same thing that these teachers are doing. Why PYLUSD? Why every district in the state of California? Why is this continuing? Why is the teacher allowed to continue to wear that badge that has a QR code that takes our children to a website that we would never allow them to see without our permission? Why are students possibly going to Karla Jones still, like this young girl did, and say, I'm considering committing suicide, and she doesn't take any action? She instead pushes the ideology that's causing her suicide ideations to continue and to increase. This needs to stop, and it needs to stop today. Thanks. Bye.